The internet seems obsessed with Trini roti, and it's all for valid reasons. I'll show you why today. First, there is sada roti, the most basic type of roti in Trinidad. No oil is used in the making, but historically, there's been the challenge of making it swell. Everyone knows the paratha, also known as bus-up shot because of its resemblance to a torn t-shirt. I call it Mr. Shaggy himself. A special folding technique is utilized, and it's beaten at the end of cooking to unravel the flaky layers. A more recent addition to the roti scene, the pepper roti, is referred to as a stuffed Trini pizza, a savory combination of peppered and seasoned mashed potato is topped with cheese and sandwiched between two flaky layers of paratha. Then there's dal puri, difficult to make and arguably the most famous of them all. A roti expertly stuffed with ground and seasoned split peas. It's rolled out and cooked on a tawa and oiled on both sides like a paratha. All are made with the same basic ingredients. It's the techniques that set them apart. Now allow me to introduce you to arguably the softest of the bunch, the Dosti Roti, also called the friendship roti because of two layers that are joined to form one roti. As you will see, we make it little differently in my family. I refer to the Dosti Roti as paratha's elegant cousin, quite different in appearance from the paratha, but basically the same ingredients as I've mentioned before and with exceptional flavor. Soft and delicate, it begs to be eaten with pumpkin or any of our other mouth-watering dishes. To make Dosti Roti at home, you'll need flour, salt, and baking powder, a tawa, griddle or frying pan, a rolling pin, also known as bilna in Trinidad, a homemade or other brush to brush oil on the roti, and a dabla or spoon handle to flip the roti. In your medium bowl, add your flour, salt, baking powder, and mix them to combine. Gradually add water and knead to form a soft dough. The dough should be between a paratha and a sada roti dough. Not too soft and not too firm. The first technique I'm using, like my other videos, is the grab and squeeze method. You're grabbing and squeezing the dough to help to bring it together. It takes a little time, but it's worth the effort. Now that it's all come together somewhat, we're going to start rolling it around to bring it even tighter together. I noticed that there's still some dried flour at the bottom of the bowl, so I'm going to remove the dough from the bowl and I'm going to add a little bit of water to bring that dried flour together as well. Don't forget to clean around the sides of your bowl. It's going to be less scrubbing later on. Let's put the dough back into the bowl. And now we move on to the knuckle press method. We're going to knuckle press here to try to smoothen the dough. We're going to knuckle press a couple of times. Flip and knuckle press the other side as well, about 10 times each side. Here I'm dipping my fist into the water and then knuckle pressing. It helps to bring a little more moisture into the dough to keep it soft. More subtle and more effective than adding the water directly to the dough. Flip and knuckle press a couple more times and then we're almost done. Pull the dough up to form it into a ball, and then we're going to roll it around a little bit and we're done. If it's too sticky to manage at this point, just add a little dusting of flour and that would really help. Sometimes it helps to remove it from the bowl and place it on a flat work surface. Cover the dough and let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. For the next step, you'll need any one or a combination of the following: butter, ghee, coconut oil, vegetable oil, or olive oil. To divide the dough into 8 equal pieces, first we'll divide them into 4 and then we'll divide each into 2. Make each into a smooth round ball, also called a loyah. One can make the Dosti Roti smaller, thinner, but my family likes roti that's substantial, plus it's less work for me. There you have it, 2, 4, 6, 8. Don't worry, soon it will be on your plate. Using one dough at a time, press it into a 4-inch circle using your fingers or rolling pin. Next, using your fingers or the bottom of a spoon, rub the surface of the dough with a butter or oil or a butter-oil mixture. Flatten the next ball of dough in the same fashion. Stretch it out and make it similar in size to the first dough. Sprinkle on flour onto the first flattened dough and place a second flattened dough circle onto the first. If one is wider than the next, no worries, just pull them to fit. Press the dough to bring them together and to even out the surface and continue to flatten. Here's where things get a little more interesting, my friends. I'm going to take 2 and divide each into 2. Then I'm going to use 3 pieces. First, we'll flatten and push it out into a 4-inch wide circle. Place butter, flour, flatten the second. Place it on top of the first. Butter the second, flour, and then place the third on top of the second. And that makes 3 layers. Growing up, I had no idea that Dosti Roti only had 2 layers because Mommy always made 3 layers. It was only recently, about a year or 2 ago, that I found out that Dosti Roti was typically made with only 2 layers, and how frightful that reality was. Just wait and see what happens when it's cooked. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Repeat with the remaining dough, making 2 or 3 layers, but I promise you, once you see the result with 3 layers, you'll never make 2 layers again. Next, place them on a buttered tray until you're ready to cook them, maybe in about 10 to 15 minutes. Next, if you wish to freeze these, place it on a parchment paper or wrap it carefully in a parchment paper and place it in a resealable freezer Ziploc bag, and it will stay there maybe a couple of weeks to a couple of months. You're ready to cook the roti. Heat the tawa, dry cast iron skillet or griddle over medium heat until hot and brush with a little oil or butter oil mixture. Working with one flat circle of dough at a time, keeping the remaining dough covered, and using just enough flour to prevent sticking to the counter and rolling pin, roll the dough out carefully, making sure that you roll the edges as well. Flip, rotate, and roll until it becomes a thin, even 10-inch round or as wide as your tawa or griddle, making sure that the edges are not thick. If you can't make it round, don't worry. As I always say, it tastes just as good, and you will have the opportunity to stretch and fix it once it's on the tawa. When the tawa is hot, pick up the dough gently, place it on the palm of your hand, and lay it gently on the tawa. Here you have a few seconds to stretch it into shape. Make sure you press out the edges as well. Brush with about 1 tablespoon of butter or oil or less over the surface of the roti and cook for about 1 to 2 minutes on low heat. Flip when the bottom is a light golden brown and butter the other side as well. If any of the edges are too thick, press to flatten to ensure that it's evenly cooked. And dear friends, I knew I married into the right family when I saw my mother-in-law making a 4-layered Dosti Roti. This is the first time this has been seen on the internet.
Stretch out, huh? You know what is so what is so and they go do it so. What they do the pizza?